Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Sky-Dweller, reference 326935. This is a watch that represents the post-2017 version of the Sky-Dweller dial, which is better loomed and easy to read. So, this model, originally launched as the Sky-Dweller in 2012, includes a GMT, an annual calendar, a chronometer certification, tons of water resistance, and one of the cleverest interfaces you will ever find. 42 millimeters in diameter in Everose rose gold. It's 14 millimeters thick. It is 50.1 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. If you include the end links of the bracelet, it's 51.6 millimeters. 21 millimeters is the spacing between the lugs. Taking a quick look at the watch on my wrist, it's large, but it's not huge. It's a timepiece that will fit underneath most cuffs, largely because the case back is cupped and the bezel is sloped. I would recommend it for a wrist no smaller than 15 centimeters circumference, though you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it wears just fine. It's nicely counterweighted with the substance of the bracelet and the clasp counterweighting the watch head, so if you do want to wear it loose, it's not going to move around unduly. Remember, 15 centimeter circumference wrists or larger. Rolex has its own foundry. It makes its own gold. Rolex also makes its cases, bracelets, and clasps. Now, this is called Everose. It's a gold alloy that Rolex introduced in 2005. It is forever rosy because of its high platinum content. It won't fade. It also has a high copper content, which makes it redder than conventional pink or rose golds. We have the Oyster bracelet here. A conforming end link better melds the bracelet to case. And then we have a little bit of a taper with polished centers, satin shoulders, polished outer faces, and removable links fixed in place by screws. So that's how you size this bracelet. You remove the screw-fixed links. You also have a 5 millimeter Easy Link snap-in, snap-out tool-free adjustment. And then you can see internally there are 3 divots drilled inside the clasp. And you can use your strap tool to dislodge the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet inside the clasp. We have a thick gauge single fold swing arm for single fold deployment and a beak and a hook system that actually latch together, and then you need to lift one off the other. It's not a friction fit system. It's actually a lift lock system, and it latches just like that. We have here a twin lock crown in gold, screw down, 100 meter water resistance. And you know it's a twin lock because a twin lock in gold features 2 dots. We have a fluted bezel, which is not unusual by the standards of gold Rolex watches, but it is called a ring command bezel. It is part of the caliber 9001 movement. So I'll show you how this works, but first, I mentioned this watch debuted in 2012. That was the basic Sky-Dweller. This dial design with the full luminescent indices came around in 2017 and made it a much more practical watch because it's easier to read in the dark, where you will find no shortage of Rolex's signature chromolite blue lume. Yes, Rolex makes its own lume. The dial is an ardoise or anthracite sunburst metallic. We have a matching color, 24-hour second time zone. That's a GMT reference ring at center. The hands, the crown, the indices are all 18-karat rose gold, so they'll never tarnish or oxidize over time. And this is an annual calendar. In addition to being a dual time, this is a calendar that you only need to adjust once during the jump from February to March. So here's how everything works. This is a calendar that you adjust once annually. Now to set it, first of all, I pull the crown out, I unscrew it, and then in the first position, the watch winds. But note, in the second position, nothing happens. Crown justified 1 click counterclockwise. Now I can drive the date forward and backwards. I have a date here. I have 12 hours corresponding to 12 months. A little aperture outboard of each hour creates a window for an index, which is red. So you can see right here, you are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th month, the 17th. So that is May 17th. Now you can quick set this system bi-directionally. So in either direction, you can see how the little index will jump in either direction as the date will travel in both. The watch continues to tick. We have not activated hacking seconds. 1 more click counterclockwise. Now I can set the local time Note the seconds hand still moving. I'm not disrupting the GMT, second time zone. I'm not moving the minute hand. I'm not stopping the tick and the tock of the seconds. I can drive the date forward, but not backwards. One click counterclockwise. Now I've activated hacking or stop seconds. The seconds hand is no longer moving. And you can see I'm adjusting both the reference time at center and then beyond that, the local time, which is represented by the hands. Reset everything. Now the watch is ready to roll. So you set the reference time, then you set the local time, then you set the calendar. Now the watch has a caliber 9001, which is a dual time, an annual calendar, an automatic winder with a 70-hour power reserve. It has a bidirectional quickset. It has hacking seconds. It's a 4 hertz or 8 beat per second movement that pivots on 40 joules. It is a COSC chronometer. Rolex then takes the certified movement as a chronometer, cases it up, and tests it in 6 positions as a finished watch so that it will keep time to no worse than -2 +2 seconds per day, hence the term superlative chronometer. That phrase now has a substantive basis. The movement has a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance for shock tolerance. It uses a rotor for winding on a ball bearing rather than Rolex's previous jeweled staff setup, again for shock tolerance. It has a handmade Breguet over coil hairspring to help it ace those multi-position timing tests, and that hairspring is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy Rolex calls Parachrom Blue, and it is highly anti-magnetic. Not only does Rolex make the case and the loom, as I mentioned, Rolex also makes is the shock protection system, which is called Paraflex. They make Paraflex and they make the lubricants used in the movement. Rolex is a fully integrated manufacturer. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.